We all know why we are here doing supplementary one. We know what is happening in the country, and we know what it has necessitated after the rejection of the finance bill. And we, as a sector, have also suffered the same fate as many other sectors, where the cuts have been blanket cuts across the sector, ending up causing a situation where we are not even able to balance our numbers. Honorable Chair, in the document that you have, I'd like to take you to page 24. And you shall see a table there that is titled Financial Recommendations, table 5.1.2. And in the interest of time, Chair, I'll just dive straight into it and let you know that with the situation as is, with very big cuts in sector, the only thing that we were able to do with the ceiling that we received from Treasury is to make an adjustment of around 170 million. Now, in the vote head, ICT digital economy, on e-government services, we are recommending to slash 170 million from the revised estimate of 990.8 million, so that in this vote, we shall be left with 820.8 million. And why we are doing this, Honorable Chair, is because this is the only vote head that we would be able to adjust anything in our sector, and I will show you what we intend to do with this 170 million. In the next table, this is on page 25, you shall see that there are two things that we had no otherwise but to resource. And this is the area of cybersecurity. Honorable Chair, we have online in excess of 22,000 services to digital platforms, government services. Now that lends a situation where we are vulnerable and very exposed, so much so that cybersecurity becomes so important for us this year going forward. And cybersecurity was requiring in excess of 704 million Kenya shillings, monies that we do not have. So what we have done is, out of the 170 that we want to deduct from government shared services, we want 150 of that to go to the digital superhighway project on cybersecurity. Honorable Chair, you know that there has been what is being termed as the Gen Z uprising. I hesitate to call it such. It has been the coming together of very many things, a conspiracy of many things, historical injustices, political opportunism, the misuse of technology, and maybe a bit of some youth unrest, which is informed by a lot of historical anger. Because of that, government is now being required to communicate a bit more innovatively. And one of the sectors one of the agencies that is helping government communicate is the Kenya Yearbook Editorial, which is generating some of the content and narratives that you are seeing being used to counter the misinformation. Misinformation that even led to the felling of the finance bill. We knowing that some of the things that we are being told were in the finance bill and were so offensive to Kenyans were not even in that finance bill. So that Kenya Yearbook Editorial Board is able to help us generate these narratives and generate some content. We want to give them some 20 million out of the 170 million that we are getting out of there. Chair, you have a detailed document with you, and you shall be able to see all the other things that we are doing. And Honorable Chair, if I would get your attention, I would let you know that that is all that we have been able to do in this sector. Chair, allow me to make 3 critical points before I submit. One is that we still decry the traditional budgeting format that is being used at Treasury. We are even calling upon an accrual format of budgeting to be implemented. Two, I will say it again, Chair, that this is a very critical sector, not only for the economy, but even at this time. We are able to resolve the unemployment issue and the youth engagement issue if we were able to resource this sector appropriately and sufficiently. Honorable Chair, some of these young people can get jobs in the digital space if we were able to budget properly in this sector. Finally, Honorable Chair, the third thing I'd like to make is a request for critical but very unfunded areas. Chair, I did mention to this committee that when you invest a shilling in our sector, you can make 5 shillings from that investment. You might want to go to Treasury, knock on that door and ask them to give us some 426 million Kenya shillings that would help us to just stay afloat. This is not even going to make us efficient. This is just going to make the sector stay afloat so that it is able to deliver on better the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which has ICT as one of the key pillars. So the 426 million, we would wish for you to help us reinstate some 48 million Kenya shillings to vote head 1123 to cater for expenditures related to communication and domestic travels in the broadcast and telecommunication department. Chair, we are asking for only 48.9 million to allow this department to do its core mandate. Without this money, for a whole year, this department will only pay salaries. This is the one department in government that is required to do only one thing: communicate. Government is suffering because it is not communicating right. Here is the department that does communication. When Treasury says we are slashing budgets across the line, and the first thing they're slashing is communication budgets in all ministries and departments, they do the same to the one department that does only one job: communication. Then you are rendering this department obsolete for this financial year. So kindly, we are requiring for you to just talk to Treasury and impose on them the import of reinstating 48.9 million to vote head 1123 so that this department is able to do the only thing that it does, which is communicate, so that we are able to have our Kenya News Agency officers who are in all the 47 counties collecting information, disbursing it, channeling it to KBC, channeling it to all the other communication platforms to be able to do that which is the only mandate that they have, which is communication. So when you're cutting communication budget lines in other sectors, remember that this department does nothing else other than communicate. Honorable Chair, we are requesting that the Budget and Appropriation Committee helps us to push the Treasury to reinstate 377 million to vote head 112 for the constituency innovation hubs development expenditure. Honorable Chair, members of Parliament are imposing on their NGCDF committees to invest in a digital hub in every single one of the 1450 wards that we have in the country. For us to do that, we are doing it as members of Parliament, knowing that we are only investing in the construction of the digital hubs, but the ministry is required to not only resource the installation of the computers, but to also pay the people who shall be manning these digital innovation hubs. Honorable Chair, under better, this becomes a very critical thing for us to do for 2 reasons. One, because we know it can get our young people engaged to get digital literacy skills, but to also be able to earn on digital online jobs. And Honorable Chair, I would welcome your committee to visit digital innovation hubs that are functioning, to see what young people are doing. Young people earning 30,000 a month, 40,000 a month, the one who are more industrious, earning around 100,000 Kenya shillings a month, but there are some who are doing so impressively. You will find a young man earning 300,000 Kenya shillings a month from these digital innovation hubs. So that if we were able to install them in every ward of this country, we are able to sweep some of the young people who are in jobless corners or who are in the streets to be able to be engaged meaningfully. For us to be able to do that, Honorable Chair, we would require this Budget and Appropriation Committee to impose upon Treasury to reinstate the 377 million that we had earmarked for the equipping of digital innovation hubs and the employment of the staffers who shall be working in your digital innovation hubs in the wards. Finally, Honorable Chair, I would want you to look at the budgets and ceilings as set for the ICT authority, ICTA. ICTA has the potential to raise A&I to the tune of 750 million Kenya shillings. However, Treasury has allotted them only a ceiling of up to 350 million. You wonder, Chair, how Treasury works. This is someone who has a potential to raise 750 million. They are being told, no, don't raise 750. We are putting a ceiling for you at 350 million. Chair, this does not need rocket science. It just needs for you to go to Treasury and tell them, lift this ceiling for ICTA to 750 million. They are capable of doing it. Even raise the bar higher. We are onlining digital services. Some of these digital services are attracting some charges to Kenyans. This is A&A that would help ICTA to raise more A&A to do a few things. Still on ICTA, please request Treasury to allow ICTA to utilize its A&A for its own expenditures, because they are limited in how much of their A&A they are able to utilize as an entity. Chair, I would want to close by saying that it is a tragic situation we find ourselves in as a country. However, I do believe that every cloud has a silver lining. This could be a great opportunity for us to rethink how we budget for this country, and two, a great opportunity for Parliament to step up and do its core business of budgeting, which is not the business of anyone else, including the Treasury mandarins. It's not their business to budget. It is the business of this Parliament to budget. May Parliament step up to the plate and do that which it is required to do constitutionally. I do submit, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable KJ, for that articulate presentation.